Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever, stopped to think about those hidden components, the ones that let things spin?
Right, spin and rotate, but also, crucially, transmit power or data at the same time.
Exactly. While they're moving. We're talking about slip rings today. These really vital devices you find in, well, everything from huge wind
Yeah,
turbines
generating energy.
to those, complex robotic arms building cars and things like that.
Absolutely critical pieces of tech.
So for our deep dive, we've got this really comprehensive market report. It covers the global slip ring market, looking at sales revenue, trends, projections.
All the way from 2021 out to 2033.
Yep, and it includes the compound annual growth rates, the KGGRs.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how looking at the market for something so specialized like a slip ring can actually give us a kind of a unique window
A window into what
into
exactly?
these bigger shifts, global industrial development, technological trends. Our mission today isn't just to read out numbers.
Right.
We want to help you understand where the growth is really happening, why some regions are suddenly, taking off,
Becoming hotspots. Yeah.
and what these figures might mean for, well, the future of technology infrastructure around the world. We're aiming to pull out the key insights, give you a clear picture of this surprisingly dynamic sector.
Okay, so let's set the scene then. Give us a sense of the scale here.
Right. So globally, the entire market in 2021, we're looking at just over $1.3 billion.
1.3 billion, okay.
Then, looking ahead to 2033, the projection is it climbs to more than $2.1 billion.
Wow, quite a jump.
It is. It represents a global average growth rate of about 4.2% per year over that forecast period.
So not like explosive tech growth, but steady, consistent upward trend.
Exactly. Solid, consistent growth. But as you said, the real story, the interesting part, is when you break down that global figure.
Where it's actually happened.
Precisely. Let's start with North America.
Okay.
So that market was valued at around $405 million back in 2021. Expected to reach over $630 million by 2033. That's growing at nearly 3.8% annually.
Okay, almost 4%. And I'm guessing the U.S. takes the lion's share there.
It does, yeah. The U.S. holds the largest piece, as you'd expect. But what's kind of interesting, while the U.S. market is big and it's growing at about 3.6% a year, Canada is actually showing a stronger surge.
Really? How much stronger?
Closer to a 4.8% growth rate over the same period. They're projected to nearly double their market size.
Wow. From what, about 60 million?
Just over 60 million, yeah, up to almost $114 million.
That is quite a difference compared to the U.S. rate. What do you think might be driving that faster pace in Canada?
That's a really good observation. And if we try to connect that to the bigger picture, Canada's growth, especially next to the more, let's say, mature U.S. market, it could be a few things.
Like renewables, maybe?
Definitely seeing significant investment there. Renewable energy, wind power in particular, that's a major user of slip rings.
Makes sense.
And also think about their mining-heavy machinery industries. They're modernizing, bringing in more automation. And those sectors need that reliable power, that data transmission while things are rotating. Slip rings are key for that.
That absolutely makes sense. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic.
Europe. Right. Their market was around $330 million in 2021.
Okay.
Projected to go past $530 million by 2033. So a steady growth rate there, too, almost 4% annually.
Pretty similar to North America overall, then.
Roughly, yeah. But again, there are interesting nuances within Europe. You've got countries like Germany showing strong growth, over 4.2%.
Right, the industrial heartland.
Exactly. And the UK is actually leading the major economies, nearly 5% annual growth.
5%?
But then you look at Luxembourg.
Luxembourg?
Yeah, a tiny country, right? Stands out with the highest growth rate in Europe. Nearly 6% annually.
6%.
It's projected to almost double its 2021 value, from just over $10 million to more than $20 million by 2033.
That is striking for such a small economy. What on earth could be fueling that? You don't really think of Luxembourg as this, industrial powerhouse.
It does raise that question, doesn't it? And the report doesn't spell out the exact drivers, but we can make an educated guess, sort of form a hypothesis.
Okay, what's the theory?
Well, Luxembourg has really positioned itself as a hub, for high-tech manufacturing, R&D, specialized services.
Ah, okay. Not traditional heavy industry.
Exactly. They're investing heavily in areas like aerospace, advanced materials, even things like space resource initiatives.
Space resources, wow.
Yeah. And those fields often need very precise robotics, complex automation systems,
Which need slip rings.
which would heavily rely on advanced slip rings for those critical rotations and data transfer. So it suggests a very targeted niche kind of industrial expansion.
It's a fantastic insight connecting it to those really high-tech, specialized sectors. Okay, let's shift focus again. Asia-Pacific, obviously a huge economic engine.
Massive, yeah.
Yeah.
This market was valued over $424 million in 2021. Set to reach more than $660 million by 2033. The average growth rate there is about 3.7% annually.
Slightly lower than Europe and North America on average, but still huge volume.
Huge volume. And it really underscores that ongoing, infrastructure build out, the manufacturing expansion across Asia.
And China leads the way there, I assume.
China, as expected, yeah, growing at just over 4%. But India is also showing remarkably strong growth.
How is India looking?
Around 4.5% annually, which really points to that continued significant industrialization, more automation coming into play in both of those major economies.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on. South America.
South America. A smaller market overall, around $65 million in 2021.
Okay.
Projected to reach almost $100 million by 2033. That's growing at about 3.6% annually. Brazil holds the largest market share there.
Right. Any standouts within the region?
Well, what's particularly interesting in South America is Colombia.
Colombia.
Yeah. While Brazil leads in, the overall size, Colombia actually shows the highest growth rate within the region, over 4.1% annually.
Huh. So maybe targeted industrial expansion there too. Or new infrastructure projects, perhaps.
That's likely it. It suggests something specific is happening there, causing them to outpace the larger regional player in terms of growth percentage.
It's a great example of how sometimes the smaller economies can grow faster in specific niches. Okay, let's look at the Middle East.
Middle East generated just over $50 million in 2021.
Right.
Expected to climb to more than $90 million by 2033. And here, the growth rate is pretty robust, nearly 5.3% annually.
That's quite strong, higher than North America or Asia-Pac on average.
It is. And a key insight here is the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. They're a strong performer, almost 6% annual growth.
Okay, almost 6% for the UAE.
But even more remarkably, there's this category, rest of the Middle East, that shows the highest growth in the entire region, over 6.4% annually.
Whoa, okay, that rest of Middle East figure is really interesting. What could be driving that? What kind of diversification or infrastructure efforts might be fueling that accelerated demand, especially beyond, the traditional oil and gas sectors?
That's really the critical question, isn't it? Because many nations there, UAE, Saudi Arabia, others too, are actively pursuing these really ambitious economic diversification plans.
Moving away from just oil.
Exactly, trying to move away from that sole reliance on fossil fuels. And this means massive investments in, new smart cities, huge renewable energy projects.
Solar, wind, which use slip rings.
Precisely. Both solar tracking and wind turbines often need them. Plus, advanced manufacturing, logistics hubs, even tourism infrastructure, like complex amusement rides sometimes.
Right, lots of rotating machinery.
All sectors demanding advanced machinery, automation. And that directly drives the demand for components like slip rings. It's a very deliberate strategy to build, future-proof economies.
Okay, this brings us to the region that frankly has the most astonishing numbers in this report. Africa.
Ah, yes, Africa.
The slip ring market there, it was valued around $47.7 million in 2021, which, compared to North America or Asia, isn't huge.
Relatively small starting point, yeah.
But listen to this projection. By 2033, it's projected to explode to nearly $150 million.
It's a huge jump.
That works out to a compound annual growth rate of almost 9.5%.
9.5%.
Making it the fastest growing region globally by a really significant margin.
It's quite something, that sheer velocity of growth. It's almost triple the global average rate we talked about earlier.
Incredible. And when you dig into Africa, who's leading that charge?
Nigeria. Nigeria leads the way within Africa, showing an impressive annual growth rate of over 10%.
Over 10% a year.
Yeah. Projected to grow from just under $24 million in 2021 to nearly $80 million by 2033.
Wow.
And South Africa is following closely behind, nearly 9.9% annual growth rate there.
Just shy of 10% itself.
Exactly. This kind of almost exponential growth in what's really a foundational industrial component, It's a powerful signal.
The signal of what?
A really significant industrial shifts, major infrastructural developments happening on the continent.
So quite a journey we've taken there
Hmm.
across the globe, diving deep into this market that, yeah, maybe it's obscure to many, but it's valued well over $1 billion now.
I'm projected to reach over $2 billion by 2033.
It's definitely clear the global slip ring market is on a steady, solid upward path.
It is. But if we connect everything back, try to pull out the single biggest takeaway from this whole deep dive, the standout story is, without a doubt, the African market.
Yeah, that 9.5% growth is hard to ignore.
Absolutely. While, North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, they show stable, substantial growth, Africa is just emerging so strongly, the fastest growing region globally.
Projected to nearly triple its market size.
Nearly triple it over the forecast period, with Nigeria and South Africa really leading that charge, close to or over 10% growth rates.
And the Middle East also showing very robust growth, driven by that diversification we talked about.
Right, so this really raises an important question maybe for you, the listener, to think about.
Yeah, as you go about your day today, maybe think about all those unseen gears, those rotating parts that literally keep our world powered and connected. And perhaps consider this. What kind of groundbreaking projects, what kind of rapid infrastructure development, or maybe industrial transformations could possibly be fueling a nearly 10% annual growth rate
Year after year.
in a fundamental industrial component like the slip ring, specifically in places like Nigeria and South Africa? What do you think is truly accelerating those specific regional markets, turning them into these new engines of industrial demand?